Good evening. I will now call to order the December 11th, 2025 regular meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I said order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the roll call, please?
President Ruffing?
Here.
Vice President Anzier?
Here.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Here.
Commissioner Jacks?
Here.
Commissioner Janner?
Here.
Commissioner Risvold?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
All right, we will start with the 2026 Budget and Appropriation Public Hearing. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing on the 2026 Budget and Appropriation Ordinance Number 1085.
Make all motion. Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Okay.
Move to open the public hearing for discussion on the 2026 Budget and Appropriation Ordinance 1085 at 7 p.m.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold? Yes. President Ruffing?
Yes. All right. A quorum being present, I will now call to order the public hearing on the 2026 Combined Annual Budget and Appropriation Ordinance. The budget was prepared in tentative form and made available to the public for inspection for at least 30 days at the Fort Hill Activity Center and on the district's website. A notice of this budget hearing was published in the Daily Herald on November 24th, 2025, in accordance with the requirements of the Park District Code, and a notice in compliance with the Open Meetings Act was also prepared and distributed in accordance with all legal requirements. The purpose of this hearing is to give the public an opportunity to be heard with regard to the planned budget and appropriations for the coming fiscal year. Once public comments have been received, the board may immediately comment or reserve its comments to when the ordinance is formally presented for board consideration. Hearing is now open for comments from the audience. Okay. I would now entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the 2026 budget and return to the regular business of the meeting.
Move to close the public hearing and return to the regular meeting at 7:02 p.m.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. All right. Do we have any matters from the public?
Yes, I will call up Ron Ori.
Hello, my name is Ron Ori, address 1452 Knoll Drive, Naperville. Former commissioner for 20 years, gardener for a longer period of time than that. And I have two items on the gardening topic that I would like to mention. One is about something new, and then another is something a little older. The something new is I spent the past year developing a pollinator garden with a local school. It was a grade school, and the kids loved it. They did all the work. They prepped the ground, got rid of the weeds, covered it with cardboard, laid cardboard on top, and then covered it with mulch. And by spring, there were no weeds and there were nutrients in that soil mix. In January, they ended up putting seeds in starter trays, set them outside for the cold treatment, and then in May and June, they transferred those to the garden. They planted 1,000 plants in this 10 by 100 foot. And I thought this idea might be something that the Park District might consider for their neighborhood parks, gather with the homeowners association, gather with the neighborhood schools. Some of the stuff has to take place during the summer, and the schools are not operating, so there is some carryover. The maintenance of the plants once in the ground require some attendance and some weeding, but not much. And that first year is critical for that. So that's an opportunity I hope you can explore. And there are master gardeners and master naturalists available to be consulted or to help with the science teachers during the whole process. So I look forward to those opportunities. The other item, not so new, is for 15 years I've been developing the idea gardens at the north end of the garden plots. And together with the master gardeners who do vegetables, there is an area there and there are people there that can cover all aspects of plants. Master naturalists emphasize native plants and perennials, the gardeners vegetables. So there's an opportunity there. But that area is now, some of it 15 years old, some of it's deteriorated, some of it's been damaged by vandals. We've even had plants stolen, dug up and taken away. So,
Your 3 minutes is up. If you want to wrap up, that would be great.
okay. So I've given you a copy of what I consider things that need improvement to make that a more usable, friendly area.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Did I have any questions?
Thank you so much. Any other?
Yes, and we have received a public comment email from Scott Costello, and it reads, Dear Honorable Representatives, Naperville residents deserve responsible financial planning, evidence-based decision-making, and a park district that protects taxpayer dollars. The proposal to add more pickleball courts at Country Lakes Park and to wrap them into a major 2026 bond referendum fails on all three counts. First, the financing model is irresponsible. Bond financing may seem routine, but it is not free. If the park district issues a bond package in the $100 to $150 million range, taxpayers will pay an additional $60 to $120 million in interest alone over the life of the bond. That money goes directly to banks, investment funds, and wealthy bondholders, not to residents, not to services, and not to parks. It is absurd to borrow money for non-essential amenities and pay nearly double the actual construction cost over 20 to 30 years. A far better alternative is a 3 to 5 year pay-as-you-go savings plan, which the district can easily implement given its strong financial position and AAA credit rating. Savings cash and building later would eliminate every dollar of interest and protect residents during a period of economic uncertainty. Debt should be reserved for essential infrastructure, not trend-driven recreation. Second, there is no scientific data or detailed utilization data to justify expansion. The district often cites resident surveys, but surveys measure preferences, not actual demand or trends, as well as state and national trends. These surveys amount summaries of people who take surveys. They should not be used to decide how to spend tens to hundreds of millions of dollars of our money. Before building 6 more permanent courts, the Park District must release hour-by-hour utilization studies of the existing frontier courts, including peak occupancy, empty court hours, seasonal fluctuations, and validated demand projections. Without this data, expanding facilities is guesswork. Public dollars should never be spent based on impressions or enthusiasm alone. Third, the district must consider long-term risk. Even national sports industry data now shows pickleball's explosive growth is slowing and leveling off. If the trend peaks and declines, as most fitness fads do, Naperville will still be repaying these bonds decades after the courts fall into disuse. Taxpayers will be stuck with long-term debt and potential repurposing costs, while the trend that justified the project evaporates. It is reckless to create a 20-year fiscal obligation for what may turn out to be a 5-year trend. Finally, and I think some ways most egregiously, the district is undervaluing naming rights at the expense of taxpayers. Granting naming rights for donations as low as $100,000, as it did in the prior expansion, is less than 1% of this facility's costs, and I see that as fiscally irresponsible and somewhat embarrassing as a resident. Comparable municipalities routinely secure $1 to $5 million for naming rights agreements. Naperville is giving away public assets far too cheaply, forfeiting meaningful revenue that could offset costs and reduce the need for debt. In short, the proposal lacks sound financial data and long-term planning. The Park District should pause this project, conduct real utilization studies, phase funding through capital savings, and adopt naming rights policies that reflect Naperville's stature, not undervalue it. That's all.
Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to updates and reports, starting with Riverwalk. The Riverwalk Planning, Design, and Construction Committee met on December 2nd. The meeting focused on a final review of the updated 2031 master plan. And then the Riverwalk Commission met yesterday on December 10th and gave its final approval to the master plan updates, which will be made publicly available soon. There was also an interesting discussion about the future design of Riverwalk bricks. The next Riverwalk Commission meeting is scheduled for January 14th at 7:30 a.m. at the Municipal Center. For Finance, there is no report. Moving on to Legislative Committee.
No report.
And moving on to Parks and Recreation Committee.
No report this month.
All right, so we're back to me for my president's report. As we approach the end of the year, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude for our incredible staff. The work you've all done over the past year has enriched our community in countless ways. Parks and recreation agencies play a very unique and essential role in people's lives. They are among the few public services that support individuals from birth all the way through their senior years, and the Naperville Park District embodies that mission every day. From caring for our parks and trails in every season, to offering high-quality recreation programs for all ages, to creating safe and welcoming spaces for families and youth, and providing meaningful social connections and wellness opportunities for seniors, you serve our community in many meaningful ways. Your commitment shines through in every program run, every field prepared, every event hosted, and every resident supported. I also want to recognize and thank my fellow Park Board commissioners. This year has once again reminded us that being an elected official isn't always easy, yet your dedication and genuine care for our residents remains unwavering, and I'm proud to serve alongside of you. As we close out this year and look ahead to the next, I'm proud of what we've accomplished together, and I'm excited for what's to come. To the staff, to the board, to the volunteers, and to everyone who supports the Naperville Park District, thank you for your hard work and for your continued dedication to the people of Naperville. And on to the Executive Director's report.
Thank you, President Ruffing. The 2026 Winter Program Guide is now available on the Park District's website, and registration for winter programs such as Winter Break and Spring Break Camp is in progress. Registration for the spring season of Naperville Youth Soccer and the Naperville Premier Soccer League begins Tuesday, December 16th. Also in 2026, the Naperville Youth Soccer Program will celebrate its 50th anniversary. This long-standing recreational program has provided tens of thousands of youth participants with one of their first team sports experiences. Perhaps more importantly, the program provides an environment for fostering teamwork and learning good sportsmanship. We look forward to continuing the proud tradition of NYS in shaping Naperville's youth for decades to come. Tickets for Magical Starlight Theater's production of Shrek, the musical, are now on sale for the upcoming January performances at the Naperville Central High School Auditorium. Tickets may be purchased online or in person. Pre-sale tickets are $20 each if purchased before Friday, January 9th. After that date, tickets will be sold for $23 each at the door. Now that winter weather is upon us, the community is welcome to enjoy the outdoor sled hills and ice rinks across the community. Sled hills are open when there is at least 2 inches of snow covering the ground. Skating rinks require several days of consistently freezing temperatures to initiate and sustain ice. And I think at this point, most of the rinks are up. The Park District posts red or green flags at each skating rink location to indicate whether they are closed or open. Ice rink status can also be found online on the Park District's Cancellation and Closures tab on the Park District's website, along with a list of sled hill and ice rink locations. Additionally, rules and guidelines for using these amenities is located on the Park District's website. And finally, the 2026 Community Job Fair, co-hosted with Kids Matter, is set for Saturday, January 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Fort Hill Activity Center. This free event is for job seekers of any age, from high school students through adults of all ages. This is a great opportunity to learn about job openings at the Park District and with many other Naperville area businesses. Additionally, attendees can improve their professional skills at the event's Career Center by participating in mock interviews and having their resume reviewed, as well as attend one of 2 interactive panel discussions with business professionals. Additional information on our programs, events, and facilities and other Naperville Park District news can be found on our website at napervilleparks.org. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to the Treasurer's report.
Move to approve the October 2025 Treasury Report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Ansier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. Okay, Marissa, would you please read the consent agenda?
Item 6.1, approve November 2025 disbursements in the amount of $1,973,394.96. 6.2, approve November 2025 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $284,000, $525.97. 6.3, approve November FinTech disbursements in the amount of $691.85. 6.4, approve November 2025 customer refunds in the amount of $1,666.55. 6.5, approve November 13th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. 6.6, approve November 13th, 2025 executive session closed meeting minutes. 6.7, approve November 18th, 2025 special meeting minutes. 6.8, approve November 18th, 2025 executive session closed meeting minutes. 6.9, approve December 2nd, 2025 special meeting minutes. 6.10, approves December 2nd, 2025 executive session closed meeting minutes. 6.11, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for karate instruction with Illinois Shotokan Karate Club. 6.12, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for youth sports instruction with All Star Sports Instruction, Inc. 6.13, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for youth soccer instruction with Chicago Fire Youth Camps, LLC. 6.14, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for youth sports instruction with Kids First Sports Safety, Inc. 6.15, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for swim instruction with Naperville Aquatics, Inc. 6.16, approve addendum number 2 to the soccer referee services agreement with Official Finders, LLC. 6.17, approve the 2026 independent contractor agreement for youth lacrosse instruction with Orange Crush Lacrosse Club. 6.18, approve resolution 25-12, a resolution to name the new neighborhood park to be donated as part of the Clare Development Plank Road Park. 6.19, approve resolution 25-13, a resolution authorizing Tricia Dubio to serve as the trustee of the Illinois Trust.
Thank you. Should any items be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately? Seeing none?
Move to accept consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.19.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. On to unfinished business, beginning with Ordinance 1083, the 2025 tax levy.
Move to approve the 2025 tax levy ordinance 1083 totaling $27,065,200.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. On to Ordinance 1084, the supplemental property tax levy.
Move to authorize a supplemental property tax levy ordinance 1084 to pay the principal of and interest on the district's outstanding general obligation limited tax refunding park bonds, Series 2020 of the Naperville Park District, DuPage and Will Counties, Illinois, totaling $67,695.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. And now 7.3, Ordinance 1085, the 2026 annual budget and appropriation.
Move to approve the 2026 budget and appropriation ordinance 1085 and the budgeted amount of $55,200,715 and the appropriated amount of $60,720,788.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. All right, on to discussion new business, and we will begin with the presentation of the bond proposal public opinion survey results.
Thank you, President Ruffing. In May, the Park District contracted with Beyond Your Base to assist with developing and implementing a comprehensive public engagement program to evaluate and gather community feedback on proposed projects and a potential bond referendum. The process began by conducting citizen task force meetings with approximately 40 residents and community leaders to prepare for sharing and testing proposed projects with the community. Feedback gathered from the citizen task force was used to refine the projects in the overall package, and in September, an extensive public engagement process was initiated by the Park District to communicate information to residents and gather feedback on a potential funding proposal. The engagement culminated with Beyond Your Base administering a public opinion survey on behalf of the Park District. This evening, I'll provide an overview of the survey results. A full copy of the survey results is available on the Park District's website at napervilleparks.org. So looking at the survey, again, Beyond Your Base was contracted to conduct this public opinion research survey on behalf of the Park District. The approach was a 16-question survey that was mailed out to all 53,457 registered voter households in Naperville in late October. And that occurred after we had completed a series of 5 open houses, as well as had provided informational mailers to residents of the community to make them aware of the proposed projects and provide information and educational materials on that. It was also available online, so individuals could complete the survey, the hard copy survey, and mail that back to the Park District or drop it off here at the Fort Hill Activity Center, or they had the option of completing it online via a QR code on those printed surveys. We also sent a text message with the survey link to over 60,000 voters on November 4th. The response that we received, we had provided a deadline of November 15th, requesting residents reply by that time frame, and over 7,000 surveys were returned by then. And you can see it was a combination of both the mail QR code as well as the text message. And then after that initial analysis was completed, Beyond Your Base received nearly 600 more mail-in surveys after that November 15th date that they've incorporated into the bond question that is on page 16 that we'll get to. But with over 8,000 survey responses, that's actually a 15% response rate, which in speaking with Beyond Your Base is an incredible response rate, especially for a community our size. Typically, they see response rates of about 8 to 17%, with the higher percentages taking place in smaller size communities. This slide shows the results of the distribution of those who responded to the survey. Overall, fairly even distribution and representation from across the community. We asked residents about their overall awareness of the proposal and the 6 projects that were being proposed, and 77% said that they have some or had some or a lot of awareness of what was being proposed, which again, speaking with Beyond Your Base, is an incredible percentage. It's very high and really speaks to the communication that took place this fall to make sure that residents were aware of what the Park District was proposing. We asked about performance, how well they believe the Park District is meeting the community's park and recreation needs. 88% responded somewhat or very well, with 6% responding not very or not at all. The 88%, again, is a very high number to receive back for this particular question. Trust and fiscal management, we wanted to know how confident residents are that the Park District would utilize the funds responsibly from any future bond referendum. 73% responding somewhat confident or very confident. And again, speaking with Beyond Your Base, and they conduct these types of surveys for communities throughout the nation, 73% is about as high a percentage as they see for this type of a question. So very high confidence level. We asked about priorities on parts of the proposal. So there were the 6 projects that included the Community Activity Center, the acquisition of open space, as well as a number of park improvement projects and the potential to add refrigerated outdoor ice rinks. And what you can see here is that residents responded that really the top priorities are the new Community Activity Center with a net favorability of 19%, as well as land acquisition and trail expansion, again at the 19% mark. After that, as far as net favorability, you see that it drops off considerably for those other park projects, with Nike being the next one at -8%, and then the other park projects that were being proposed with a lower priority. We ask about the priority on the proposed amenities included within the possible new Community Activity Center. Fitness room with cardio, circuit, and weight equipment had the greatest net favorability with this particular question, followed by the elevated walk jog track, gymnasium, lap pool, warm water pool down the line. So larger spaces within the facility that are proposed had the greater interest in priority level among residents responding. And then a number of the support spaces, so when we think of social spaces, the child care space, as well as dedicated space for Western DuPage Special Recreation, did not have as high of a priority, but many of those spaces actually support the larger spaces that you see above. When asking, we placed some statements in the survey to let us know statements in support of a possible referendum, what residents felt were the most compelling statements that were in support of a referendum. 29% net favorability that the Fort Hill Activity Center is near capacity and that a second activity center could help reduce with wait lists. The available open space in Naperville is limited, and the proposed project would help protect wooded areas was next, followed by the Park District serving a large community, and a new community activity center could help meet the growing demand. Those that were less convincing were the proposed indoor recreation and park improvements would expand access to health and wellness opportunities for all ages. And then the proposed activity center would include 11 lap lanes, 8 in the lap pool and 3 in the activity pool, providing more opportunities for swimmers. We also asked statements asking residents to let us know how convincing statements were that were opposing a possible referendum. Property taxes already too high had a net favorability of 56%. And in speaking with Beyond Your Base, that number is pretty consistent with what they see in other communities when they ask similar questions. The property taxes typically fall out at the top as far as those statements that would be in opposition to a possible bond referendum. The next two, given certain economic uncertainty and rising costs, now may not be the right time, as well as the Park District is trying to do too much at once and the number of projects should be scaled back. Those statements that were less convincing, with net favorability of negative 32% as well as negative 40%, involved the 8-lane, 25-yard lap pool being too small and that the district should consider a larger competition pool, and having a new community activity center could negatively affect other providers in the area. We asked about level of tax sensitivity, so providing residents with the annual tax increase estimated at $139 or about $12 a month. This would be for a bond referendum of $135 million to complete those projects. That $139 or $12 a month would be for a home with a fair market value of $500,000. And providing residents with that information, we ask them if they would be more or less likely to vote yes for a potential referendum. 44% were somewhat or much more likely, and 34% were somewhat or much less likely to vote. We provided a sample ballot question. Again, this would be for a $135 million referendum for paying the costs of the proposed projects, and asked residents, would you vote yes in favor of or no to oppose the ballot question? And the responses came back with 53% responding that yes, that they would be supportive of the ballot question for those projects, 42% no, and 4% and 1% either didn't know or did not provide an answer to that question. When you look at support across the zip codes, looking at the distribution again among the zip codes, fairly consistent across the various zip codes, with 60564 having a higher level of support for the overall proposal. So in summary, again, 53% were in support of the proposal, 42% no, and 5% undecided. Polarized intensity of support with, and that really speaks to the 26% that were definitely yes versus 27% responding definitely no. There is support across demographics, and I mentioned before that the full survey results are available on the Park District's website. And so we did ask, and we did do some, cross tabulations as far as looking at genders and support. Females are more supportive than males, 61% versus the 52%. Younger groups are more supportive than those who are 55 plus or 75 plus. And then, as I mentioned before, the consistent support across all the geographies, with 60564 having a higher level of support. There's very strong awareness of the proposals, a very strong level of trust, strong satisfaction with the district, and modest concern regarding the tax impact. And then looking back at the projects, again, 6 that were proposed as part of the package that was provided to residents this fall, really falls out into 3 tiers when you look at the priority levels again. The first tier, the highest level of priority and support from residents being the new Community Activity Center at Frontier Sports Complex, and then the open space land acquisition and trail expansion, with the other projects not receiving as great of a level of priority support from residents. So before the board this evening is a resolution to consider a bond referendum that would really focus on the top 2 priorities that the community identified, that being the Community Activity Center as well as the open space land acquisition. Are there any questions on the survey?
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So the next agenda item for the board is to consider adoption of resolution number 25-14, providing for and requiring the submission of the proposition of issuing $120 million of general obligation bonds to the voters of the district at the general primary election to be held on March 17th, 2026. The purpose of the bond issue is to improve parks and facilities, including constructing a multi-purpose indoor activity center at Frontier Sports Complex, which would provide fitness and exercise rooms, walking and jogging track, gymnasiums, indoor swimming pools, and rooms for programs and community activities, and acquiring land for the purpose of preserving, restoring, and maintaining open spaces and extending trails. I would now entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 25-14.
Move to adopt Resolution 2514, providing for and requiring the submission of the proposition of issuing $120 million general obligation bonds to the voters of the district at the general primary election to be held on March 17th, 2026.
Second.
All right, we're going to open up discussion, and I'm going to kick us off. For several years, the Park District has received considerable input, both solicited and unsolicited, from residents and participants that identified and prioritized facility, parks, and recreation needs. We sincerely thank our residents for their interest in and commitment to the Park District. We especially wish to thank the many residents who participated in the recent community survey. Their input is helping the board evaluate the possibility of a referendum to issue bonds to address the facility, parks, and recreation needs most frequently identified. We received more than 8,000 responses, an extraordinary level of engagement that played a critical role in guiding the Board of Commissioners' next steps regarding the referendum. So based on residents' feedback regarding project priorities and tax sensitivities identified in the survey, and in order to be responsive to that feedback, the Board of Commissioners has reduced the number and types of projects to be included in the proposed resolution for a March bond referendum from the 6 presented in the survey. Instead of pursuing all of the proposals in the survey, the election resolution before the Park Board of Commissioners this evening includes only the top 2 priorities identified by residents: the development of a new community activity center with indoor aquatic facilities at Frontier Sports Complex, and acquiring land for the purpose of preserving, restoring, and maintaining open spaces and extending trails. This process reflects the district's ongoing commitment to being responsive to the community it serves. By listening to residents and adjusting the proposal accordingly, we are ensuring that community input continues to guide our progress. A decision by the Park Board of Commissioners this evening to approve the election resolution will create the opportunity for the residents to make their choice on whether to fund these proposed improvements. If the election resolution is approved, we encourage all voters to make their voices heard during the election and vote earlier on March 17th. I'll now open it up to the board for comments.
Thank you. So I want to thank the entire Park District staff, everyone who's worked so hard on getting us through this, working with Beyond Your Base, getting and receiving such valuable feedback from the community in the ways that you have. I attended one of the open houses, and a lot of staff were present there answering questions for residents. I spoke with a few myself and got some direct feedback, and it was a really great experience. I love public engagement. That's the best part of doing this, working in this position. It's because we're here to represent the community, and we want to hear from the community because that's who we are. And so really glad we got all the feedback that we did. And again, the staff has done a wonderful job of engaging the community and keeping us as board members on top of everything. One of the things that really stood out about this report tonight was that the community already has a very high level of trust and satisfaction with the Park District. That's been day one since me being here on the board, has been what I've always heard. And it seems to be very consistent, and I definitely see why. And the fact that coming back now, we've heard this feedback, now we have a new resolution based directly on that feedback. Really shows why the community already has a lot of trust in the Park District, is because of this kind of response, that we can listen to the community well, take all of those concerns and really turn it around into offering something that's going to be even better serving the community. So I really appreciate that. And so, I've been really satisfied with this whole process as far as that goes. So I just wanted to say thanks for that, and look forward to hearing more from the community.
Yeah, since way back when I was a candidate, the three things I've heard people comment about is that we need more indoor aquatic space in Naperville, we need more indoor space for things like basketball, and also that we don't have enough facilities in the south side of Naperville. And this proposed project, it would tick all three boxes. So I'm very interested in putting this out to a vote to the public and then see what they say, especially with the cost. I think definitely let's put it on the ballot and let's see what the public says. I'm very much in favor of this.
Yeah, so I also want to thank all of the staff and Director Wilson, Beyond Your Base, for all the efforts that they have put into informing this proposal. And, I want to take a couple minutes today to inform our residents about this vote on the referendum. And I want to assure the residents in Naperville that this decision and the components that are included in the referendum were not taken lightly and have been informed by multiple surveys of the community over multiple years, several open houses, public comments, and outreach. You, the residents in Naperville, have continuously told us that indoor space is lacking, facilities and recreational opportunities in South Naperville are lacking, and that we need to address this gap in services and opportunities. As this data and feedback have been collected and analyzed meticulously, the Park District has explored options to fulfill this need in the most efficient and effective way possible. The district wants to fulfill needs while also being economically conscious during these times. Now, this is a tough balance, and this is a gap that has existed for years, and we know that residents have wanted us to tackle this issue for several years. And we also know that it's a tough economic time with costs going up. We completely understand that, and this is why the Park District has put together this referendum proposal that is evidence-based, it's data-driven, and most importantly, it is informed by the community. This proposal addresses the needs that residents have been expressing to us while keeping the costs to a minimum for our residents through proposing utilizing property for a potential additional recreational facility that the Park District already owns, and including a variety of recreational opportunities that will address gaps and capacity, especially in South Naperville. We know this referendum is not going to fulfill what everyone wants. We have been engaging with numbers of residents and organizations that have taken feedback and comments incredibly seriously during this process and in impacting this decision. At the end of the day, our job is to find the balance and find the best possible solution that will address the Park District's gaps and the needs of the entire community. We intend to complement the existing recreational opportunities and meet growing demand so more residents have access to activities that improve physical, mental, and social emotional health. And we also intend to keep the economic impact as low as possible while ensuring an excellent return on investment. And most importantly, this decision is ultimately up to you, the residents of Naperville. The Park District has made a data-informed decision, especially on the new proposal, and have determined that you deserve to be asked the question and you deserve the opportunity to vote on this to move forward or to not. Our responsibility remains fulfilling the opportunities for all our residents and proposing improvements that make the Park District better for our entire community, and we remain deeply committed to that mission, and every decision is rooted in that commitment. Thanks.
I just wanted to thank everybody for all of their hard work, and I'm really proud to be a part of this organization. Just seeing the hard work that goes into giving the community an opportunity to really exercise democracy. It's impressive. It is something that I'm really thrilled to be a part of. I think this is a great opportunity to further improve our community, to further interact and connect with the folks that live in South Naperville, I myself being one of them. But also, I'm really thankful for everybody that's reached out, either for or against. I mean, those that I've heard from that are against, it's mostly just copy and paste the same email. But those that I've heard from for it are emphatically for it because of how much trust and support the Park District has, and that is a testament to the hard work of staff and everybody that volunteers and works hard to make this the best park district in the country. I'm excited about the opportunity to give our residents this opportunity to exercise their right to vote and put democracy into action. And I think it'll be a tremendous opportunity for the community to grow and further connect with the Park District and vice versa. And I look forward to supporting it.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity and the honor of serving on the board for about 15 years, and I started paying attention to the Park District very closely about 5 years before that. And so for the past 20 years, there's been no doubt that the community has been asking and wanting aquatic space, more indoor space, South Naperville trails. These are the three things that we hear most often. It's nice to see our former President Gibson and Commissioner Orey here, going all the way back to Commissioner Orey's time. We're hearing, the same things. And so, I think it would be inappropriate for the board to unilaterally say, yes, we're going to spend the public's money on all these things, but it's very much appropriate for us to ask the question and, let democracy do its thing and see if people want to, quote unquote, put their money where their mouth is here. Everyone wants these amenities, but, the propensity to pay is very important. And, I think it's very appropriate to again, ask the public and again, let democracy do its thing. Personally, I live on the far north side of Naperville, like as far north just about I can hit a golf ball to Wheaton. So at my kitchen table, if my household, we see this on the ballot, might be maybe a no, I don't know. Do we really want to go all the way south on a school night? Maybe not, but as a commissioner, of course, we can't just represent ourselves and our own opinion, but we're all representing the broader community. And again, I think it's very much appropriate to ask the question, and I'll certainly be interested to see the results.
Just echoing everything everybody has said is very true and real. I just also want to point out the fluidity that we constantly see here at the Park District, where we have our staff think of a project, they bring it forward, and then it changes, it moves. It's a living, breathing thing constantly, and this project will be that too. And like Commissioner Risvold said, give the people the opportunity to let democracy reign, and really it's out of our hands. It's really not our choice whether or not this referendum goes through. It's the people's choice. It's the people's voices that we want to hear from. And honestly, throughout this whole process, I've really thought it's a win-win for the Park District. Either we get a great new project, an exciting new project we get to work on, or we've heard from you guys and you've said no, and we can point to that and say, Naperville doesn't want or need this right now. So either way, I think that moving forward with referendum at this juncture is the right decision, and I definitely support that.
Any other final comments from the board? All right. Marissa, will you please call the roll?
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold?
Absolutely, yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. The motion is carried, and resolution number 25-14 is adopted. Moving on to our next item of new business, the 2026 Naperville Art Forum Light Anemones proposal.
Yeah, President Ruffing and I have the next two items. Both are from Naperville Art Forum, but we'll begin first with the light anemones. The Park District received a proposal from Naperville Art Forum for the temporary placement of a floating public art installation on the Paddleboat Quarry located on the Naperville Riverwalk. A copy of the proposal was included with the agenda for this evening's meeting. Art Forum, the Naperville Partnership for Public Arts, is a public-private partnership organized as a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to enhancing community spaces through public art. Per the information received from Art Forum, the goal of the light anemones is to enhance the paddleboat quarry with safe, accessible, and innovative public art installation that engages visitors both day and night. The sculptures are designed to reflect natural light during the day and provide an illuminated kinetic display after dark. The display is proposed to be in place over the course of 2 weeks in October after the conclusion of the 2026 paddleboat, kayak, and paddleboard rental season. The display would be fully maintained and insured by Art Forum throughout that time. We're introducing the topic for discussion with the board this evening prior to bringing a resolution for consideration at an upcoming meeting. Displays of public art on the Riverwalk are considered a speech act, and as such, any display that occurs outside of a designated free speech area of the Riverwalk requires the park board to formally adopt the display through a resolution identifying that display as a speech act of the park district. The proposal was also recently reviewed by the Parks and Recreation Committee, and I will open it up to the board if there are any questions on this item.
I don't believe there are. Oh, I'm so sorry.
The thing about the wind phone, that seems kind of odd to me. Oh, sorry, we're not going to move on to the next. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to talk.
Yeah,
about
we have
the
two
other-
separate proposals from
No,
Art
you're
Forum.
fine.
All right.
Okay, so with that, why don't we move on to 8.4?
Okay. So we'll work on a
The wind
resolution
phone,
to bring
yeah.
back to the
Perfect.
board for the light anemones.
Okay.
The next agenda item is the wind phone. We also received a proposal from Art Forum for the temporary placement of this interactive public art installation. A copy of the proposal was also provided with the agenda. Per the information received from Art Forum, the wind phone invites visitors to call loved ones who have passed away, to say things left unsaid, to find connection, and to release emotion into the wind. The experience is quiet, self-guided, and deeply personal, creating a place of reflection for anyone who has experienced loss. Art Forum is requesting that the proposed installation be located along the Naperville Riverwalk, just west of the Carillon, near the small quarry. However, in speaking with representatives, they are open to working with the Park District to determine the best location for the display's placement. The display is proposed to be in place from spring 2026 through autumn 2026, and it would also be fully maintained and insured by Art Forum throughout that time. Again, we're introducing the topic for discussion with the board this evening prior to bringing a resolution for your consideration, and I would open it up for questions.
Do any of the other commissioners have any issues with this wind phone? This seems kind of odd to me. I don't know, but it seems kind of odd to me that we would have something like this. But if none of the commissioners have an issue with it, I guess I don't. But
Odd how?
I would encourage people to talk to the deceased. I mean, that's I don't know that. I don't know. That seems kind of odd to me. I don't know that, but I guess the other commissioners don't have a problem with it. Okay, but
Well, I don't think
don't
it's a
know about
matter
that.
of like having a problem or not problem. Obviously, it's something, art's subjective, right? Not everybody is going to appeal to the same thing. So if it's not for you, you don't have to use it, so it's okay. Other people may find comfort in doing something like that. So I think that's kind of the whole purpose of the project, from what I understand, is that, it's an opportunity if people do want, maybe have even thought of that before. Sometimes it takes a suggestion like, oh, maybe that actually would be kind of a nice thing. And maybe it's not, but it's certainly not something that's like forcing people to do it, so. Yeah, so but yeah, I'd never heard of one either. So, but my only concern was just as far as location, just making sure it's safe, that still allows for that privacy or quiet moment for people, but also isn't going to be vandalized or have, other not great things happen to it. As a piece of art, of course, you'd hate to see that happen. And I know that they said they would insure it and take care of it. So that was the only thing I would want to see going forward with it be discussed and figured out.
That was also my only concern, because it's interactive, just making sure that it's safe, making sure that it's not in any way in disrepair. And I understand Commissioner Jack's concern, but having grown up Catholic and gone to Catholic school, I've been talking to the deceased my whole life, every Sunday. So I don't have a whole lot of problem with that. I think it's really congruent with our mission and our values, especially offering folks an opportunity to improve their mental health and their wellness, as long as we can ensure that it's safe, that it stays in good repair, that it's not being vandalized, everything else, which I know our park police will make sure of that, because we have the best of the best. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's just top of mind for me always.
Eric or Brad, how do we make sure that an organization like this has the funds to handle ongoing operations, or if needed. I mean, is there any precedence for either an escrow account or something along, or just contractually obligated? I just want to make sure if there is any, not only this project, but all the projects with this new group, if there are any operational issues that they need to handle, make sure they have the funds on hand to do it so the Park District wouldn't get stuck.
Yeah, that's something that we would look to certainly speak with this group and ensure that they have something like this. We have developed and have approved donation agreements in the past for other permanent installations within parks and facilities, and there are terms within those agreements. I know with this particular case, these are ideas right now that Naperville Art Forum is presenting to the Park District to understand if there's an interest by the Park District to support this. But they are also working at the same time on looking to secure funding to be able to bring these displays to the community.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's unprecedented or not, but I would maybe consider some type of an account where these funds could be held so that if and when maintenance was needed, we didn't have to wrestle to get the dollars to fix it or have to do it ourselves, where those funds would be on hand and available, and if we needed to activate those funds, we can quickly do so without any back and forth. Again, I don't know if there's any precedent for that, but it just seems like as we get into this new group with all this public art, it might be wise to look at something like that.
And with these particular displays, we would actually look to Art Forum and the actual artists to take care of anything that would need to be maintained. So if there was damage, anything along those lines, it would not be Park District staff that would then be completing those maintenance items. We would look to Art Forum and the artists to come back and handle that.
Brad, just real quick, would that be the same case for any sort of liability issue? Would it be the art forum's responsibility to ensure that there's liability insurance in case somebody gets hurt or something
That would,
like that?
yeah, that would be part of what we would ensure is in place, is that there's the certificate of insurance, general liability insurance, that names the Naperville Park District as an additional insured. And in this case, because much of the Riverwalk is also a city of Naperville property, the city would also be listed.
Thanks for clarifying all that. Are there any other questions? Okay. All right, moving on to 8.5, play equipment purchase order authorizations.
Good evening. Similar to the approach followed last year, purchase orders to secure play equipment for 2026 playground renovation projects are anticipated to be presented to the Park Board for authorization in the first quarter of next year. The 2026 list of playground renovation projects includes Apache Park, Burr Oak, Fox Hill Greens, Knock Park, Queensberry Greens, Spring Hill Park, and Willoway Park. The Park District has an opportunity to contract directly with product manufacturers through cooperative purchasing networks based on competitive pricing already set for products and services. This approach will assist with expediting delivery timeframes for play equipment. As another community outreach touchpoint, following up from the online 2026 Capital Projects Open House event conducted this summer, residents will have an opportunity to complete play equipment questionnaires, and the results will assist staff in selecting new play equipment. Furthermore, staff will publicly bid the construction portions of the playground renovation projects, and the selected contractors will take delivery and install the play equipment. Construction contracts for each playground renovation will be presented for approval at future Park Board meetings. Any questions?
No questions, but I had a really fun time looking at these when they did them for my local park, so I hope people do it. It's a lot of fun. So
Excellent.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 8.6, personnel policy review and updates.
Good evening. The Naperville Park District reviews personnel policies at least annually. The review consists of both a staff review and a legal review by Ansel Glink. In the October 31, 2025 weekly packet, you were provided track changes versions of policies and a summary of the proposed changes ahead of this evening's discussion. All of the proposed updates are a result of legislative changes. The policies that will come before the board at the January 8, 2026 meeting include nursing mothers in the workplace, military leave, Victims Economic Security and Safety Act of 2003, commonly referred to as VESA, Illinois military leave, and blood and/or organ donation leave. A new policy will also come before the board for consideration at that same meeting. Policy 421, Family Neonatal Intensive Care Leave Act. While the act does not go into effect until June 1 of 2026, for efficiency purposes, the policy has been included in this review cycle. May I answer any questions?
Any questions? Okay. I think we're
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then finally, 8.7, 2026 T-shirt bid.
Good evening. Next Wednesday, December 17th, we will be releasing our annual T-shirt bid document for those interested vendors who would like to provide the district with program T-shirts, league jerseys, hats, and staff uniforms. Last year, the bid was sent to over 70 potential vendors with 4 responses. We are expecting similar results with the bid process for this year as well. The bid opening will be January 13th, at which time staff will evaluate the bids received, and a contract recommendation will be presented to the board at the January 22nd meeting. Any questions?
Any questions? All right.
Okay,
Thank you so much. All right, the next meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners is scheduled for January 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m. here at Fort Hill Activity Center, and we will now move into executive session.
I signed up to speak on the referendum question. None of us were allowed.
Did we, you signed up?
There was only one public comment section today. There was no separate public comment for the referendum question. So there was 3 minutes for everyone under the Park District's public comment rules. I would encourage, I suppose, any comments could be directed to staff or Director Wilson in writing.
I'd like to make a motion to allow Commissioner Ori 3 minutes to make his comment.
Second.
Go right ahead.
Ron Ori, 1452 Knoll Drive, Naperville. 2 concerns. One, what are the total life cycle costs for each of the items? History has some dubious content. When this building was built, the executive director promised it will be built for $20 million. By the time the contracts came in, it was $24 million. I voted against it simply because we weren't honest and stuck to our word. You can design to cost. The second thing is the strategic plan for these items and for 26, 28 will not be ready until after the referendum. So how does this affect the rest of the Park District's cost, expenses, and plans for the future? And I haven't heard that integration has taken place. So you owe the public 2 things. What's it going to cost for each of the items, for construction and for maintenance? Where is that maintenance coming from? I've heard repeatedly from the executive director that we are having a hard time getting people for maintenance. Maintenance standards were lowered a couple of years ago. So I don't like what's occurred by this lack of information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to be clear, was there anybody else that signed up? Just making sure? Okay. All right. Thank you for your comments. Did you make the motion to move into executive session? Okay.
All right. Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss land acquisition per Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. Thank you.